Hello, I am Bentham, and welcome back to Factorio Railworld, where we're doing a lot of rail stuff at the moment, like we should be doing because time is short, and I want to make as many new cool rail things as I can in the remaining time. So we start off the episode as we like to do by resupplying on modules because we need to do that. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of in the way of efficiency modules at the moment. They've all been turned into the level 3 ones, and so we're a little bit low, but we'll just have to make do. So quick inspection of the factory and everything, and here you can see the circuit line, and it's got empty patches on it, and that is no good. So what we need to do is do some more upgrading with the factory, get it working faster, so that we actually can have a constant steady flow of circuits coming out of the unloading area there, rather than little bursts whenever the train turns up. So we make our way over to the outpost so we can check on how things are, and let's just straight away build some new new assemblers. So I'll put in 10 of them, so 2 sections of 5, and then we're putting in the various inserts and such, and once this is all set up we'll have double the production we had before, assuming we can actually get enough ore going into the smeltery and then plates coming out of it again, because at the moment the way it's working is copper has built up but iron has not, so we're very close to actually. No, copper's only built up on one side. I think we had a sort of perfect balance with it actually, which is sort of cool. So we built the new ones, but we actually run out of the level 1 efficiency modules. What we need to do is go and get some of those. So I go back up to the station so that we can go back. What I've done is I've put the 15 necessary into the ones on the right, but I didn't have enough left for the ones on the left, so I didn't finish setting those up. They don't have their jobs yet. Everything's connected up in terms of conveyor belts, but apart from that, no. What I also started doing is setting, crafting some more of the electric furnaces ready for that. Another 10 of them, so we can add 4 iron ones and 6 copper ones. So we're back over to the base to check on things, and unfortunately there are no level 1 efficiency modules because I didn't disconnect them from level 2 modules, and so they all got turned into level 2. So what I've done now is disconnect those, but we've still got a bit of a problem in that we need to wait for them to be produced. We need 15. I think at the moment we have 6, maybe 7. In a moment we get it up. We're up to 9, and well, actually it's going fairly fast on there, but to me it was going 3 times slower than that, and it felt like an age, so I wandered off. And I noticed that plastic doesn't seem to be very good right now. There's a bit too much in the way of gaps in the system, and we need to make sure it's all getting to advanced circuits, because they are their main job is producing all the efficiency modules and so on. So we make our way over to the outpost. Seems to be a problem with one of the signals, but I leave that for a second while I check up on the plastic, and I see that it's not being fully loaded. It's that there's a stack and a half room left when the train leaves. So I quickly fix that signal, and then I need to go and investigate what's wrong, and I quickly realise that there's a problem with the belts. There's some belt jamming going on, and then there's a biter attack over in Iron Outpost 2, so we have to get over there immediately, try and grab a train. They overrun off just before I can get to them. I managed to get on the plastic train at least, and we can take that back over to the main base, and then from there go over to the station and get on board Iron Train 2. Unfortunately it's not there. We have another attack while we're waiting. It's only one little warning this time though. But something was destroyed in that big attack there, so we need to get down there immediately and make sure that everything's okay. There might be another attack that causes some damage there if we're not quick. So as the radar switch on, I can have a look for the train, and there it is. You can watch it as it goes along the radar, goes through the circuits stations, and then parks up here so I can hop on board, and we'll get over there as quickly as possible to make sure that everything's running fine there. And off the train goes, going around, and then we have this really long journey that takes all eternity, or a third of all eternity for you, and then the train stops and waits, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? And it turns out that there's a train that's gone the wrong way, ended up going all the way up this branch and all the way back down again. So we need to put some signals in there so that we can actually have multiple trains on, because I didn't think that was a necessary thing before. Anyway, we've got damage to one laser turret, and we've got a destroyed gun turret, so we need to add in some more defences here, because the attack came from the south, which is interesting. So it looks like we're going to need to be defending from there. So I'll start setting up some turrets. I'm going to have a nice defensive line here to deal with any other biters that decide to come from this direction. It's really interesting that they did come from the south, because the south is where the rail line goes, so I guess they sort of hooked around a little bit. But anyway, once we've got that done, we'll do a bit of maintenance on the mining drills, see how it's all going there, and just clear some stuff up. There's a couple that have run out that need deconstructing and so on. Also mess with some belts to see if I can get things more efficient, but it makes no difference. Deconstruct that, check up on everything else. That all looks fine. In hindsight, I maybe should have added in some more mining drills, but at the moment the iron supply seems fine everywhere, so I guess it's not too much of a problem. But anyway, it's the matter of revenge now. Once again, we must go out into the wilderness around this outpost and deal a bunch of destruction down upon these biters. There's a lot of spitters around as well, because there's a lot of new bases that have sprung up, and so they're full of spitters. You see there, I'm trying to use the poison capsules to do some extra damage, but I didn't really see how well they did because I just sort of ran in and shot them anyway, and sort of ruined the experiment there. And of course the destroyer drones were also blowing up everything. And then there's a base over here as well that has quite a few worms to it. We get that done, we nearly lose all our shields actually. And what I decided to do after this is I'm going to tweak my suit composition. So I start crafting a new portable fusion reactor, and then I get rid of the exoskeletons I have there and stick the second fusion reactor in. And the idea behind this is that I will be able to charge my shields at twice the speed, which means that I will be able to survive a lot more battles that last this sort of any amount of time. Because oh, and here's another base that's fairly easy to deal with actually. There's just a couple of worms and spits around the place, but then I decided to keep going because there's some more really big bases just a little bit further out that I've always avoided, but I decided this time I'm going to go for it. So I deploy 52 destroyer drones and then run in guns blazing with my extra powerful shields and just all the way up, blowing up everything I see, and I can quickly grab all of the alien artifacts. And then what I want to do is very quickly get down to the next base and make use of this ridiculous number of destroyer drones I've deployed. And look at all the worms here, this is crazy. But thanks to all the destroyer drones, they take a lot of the hits and also deal a lot of hits too. So I lose a good 20 of them, but I managed to destroy all of the worms without taking too much shield damage, which is nice. So we deploy a couple more drones to replace the ones that have been lost, and then there's one more base over here to work our way through. And this one just keeps going, it like tapers off into the forest with just one worm on its own. So we get that done, and that seemed alright. It looks like it's well, there's two strategies that appear to be a good idea based on these battles. One of them is have millions of destroyer drones, the other one is have good shield charging, because the longer the battle is, the more effective that is. Anyway, we start making our way back towards the base, and what I decided to do is stick some signals all along the place, just to help with if there's any multiple train things going on in this area later. We can just if we stick these in, it means that the trains can actually be fairly near each other rather than waiting for ages for one train to move on before the other one can. And then we just stick some in there as well in case that helps with stuff, and then we can make our way back over to the circuit base, see how things are going there. And the thing is, we have some more efficiency modules now because we deconstructed some of the mining drills at the iron outpost, so we'll be able to use those in the assemblers. And also what we need to do is add in some more furnaces to keep the production of plates up to scratch, so that we can keep the all the assemblers going as fast as possible. So put in the substations for those and so on. And the efficiency modules, we have enough of the level 2s for all that, so that's fine, because we didn't disconnect those originally, which meant that a lot more of those got produced than the level 1 modules. So we just need to put all the belts in place, and then we need to actually see how we need to get all of this stuff over here set up as well, get all of these assemblers running so we get some circuit production from there, and there that goes. And then it's time to go and check on the ore, and there's no copper ore coming through, which is absolutely no good. So what we need to do is go and check on the copper train, see what the problem is, see if we can fix it, and so on and so forth. So here comes one of the trains now, and it's the right one, the one that comes to circuits. So we hop on board. You can see it's unloaded almost immediately. There's not very much that's been loaded into that train. So then we start making our way back over to the copper outpost 1. Takes a bit of a circuitous route, but that's just how the system seems to work nowadays. I'm thinking about a different rail design for the next series. I think there's going to be less focus on rails anyway, because I've already done rails once, but I'm going to be going for a different sort of style of rails based on a more based more on actually real rail systems. There's going to be loads of two-headed trains and things like that. But anyway, we're over at the copper outpost now, messing about with some mining drills, putting some more in because a lot of them have run out. And what we need to do is get the copper supply going as quickly as possible because there's two different trains getting copper from here, and we need to make sure there's enough being sent into the loading area that we can deal with two trains coming along and keep them both nicely supplied and running properly. So anyway, I'm looking at how to merge the conveyor belts here to get things working nicely, but of course there's a lot of stuff on one side of the belt now, and it actually starts to build up, which is a bit of a problem, so we're going to have to work something out there. And that's even with not all of the mining drills operating. So I'm just sort of puzzling over how to fix that, and then in the end I just shift up the blue, what do you call it, the blue splitter to the end to help with that, and then we start putting some efficiency modules into the mining drills, but unfortunately we do not have enough. We only have we have enough to fill most of them with 2, and we only had enough for 1 in one of them, and then we added in another few on the end which don't have any modules in them at all, which is no good, so they'll be generating quite a bit of pollution. So I plonk some laser turrets around the place, and then I grab the nearest train because I need to make my way back home, grab a bunch of efficiency modules, and then come back and fit them. So we take the we decide to do a transfer at the circuit station, seeing as it's the quickest way, because we would have had to wait for the other copper train. So we make our way back home, and we can take this belt down into the factory and get ourselves resupplied on efficiency modules. And now there's tons of them. We've got a full stack of 50, so I reconnect it to level 2 module production so we can get that sorted, and then we just check up on other things. It looks like copper could be flowing a bit better actually. I can see that the one side of a belt is a bit rubbish, and then it turns out that it's something to do with these belt balancers here. You may remember in the last episode we had a bit of a problem with these where they all jammed at like every single one in the factory nearly, and we had a bit of trouble clearing them out. That's now been fixed. The developers very promptly came up with update 0.11.8 which fixed that problem, so the belts work properly again and we no longer need to worry about that. So anyway, we're over at advanced circuits now because I've had a bit of an idea of how to sort of improve the design of it, and also we need to get some more advanced circuit production. The thing is that at the moment we have all of the copper wire production at one end, and what that means is there's a limit of how many we can have, because the belts will get too full and we won't be able to add any more. Like the wire won't be able to get to the end of the line. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually spacing out the circuit production, not the circuit production, the copper wire production, so that there's one. It's sort of like the way it works out is that each copper wire assembler is separated by 5 advanced circuit assemblers. I've actually got it wrong there, so I quickly tweak that, shift things up 1. And what will happen with that is each of the the circuits will go to the 5 advanced circuits, and then after that they will be replenished by some more copper wire production, which means that we'll be able to sort of, we can extend this infinitely now basically. Well actually no, the limit is the flow of circuits and plastic, which at the moment isn't the problem, so we can now extend things a bit more. And what I've done here is I've put in a 4th copper wire assembler right on the end here, so now we can add in another 5 advanced circuit assemblers on the end. And if we'd had all of the copper wire production bunched up at one end of the assembly line, I don't think it would have worked. I think there would have been it would have like blocked up at one end, but by the time it got all the way down the line there wouldn't be any copper wire left because it would have been taken up by all the other assemblers. So by having them spaced out, that probably helps, and I'm quite happy with the design that I've now got. So we set up all the assemblers, put in the efficiency modules, put in the power, and then all we need to do is add in the conveyor belts, and everything will get will be fully operational. And there it all goes. And hopefully the plastic and circuit supply can keep up with all of this. At some point, if we keep extending this, that won't work anymore, and we'll also probably have to go down to the oil outpost and do some work on plastic there. But for now, it looks like it's alright, and we have more advanced circuit production than ever to help with the module production and so on and so forth. So now let's go back and work on something else again. We go over to the to one of our copper trains here, and we can go and check up on. What we need to go and do is go to copper outpost 2, no 1. This one's 1, and put in the efficiency modules that we need to put in. So we take the train and I noticed that this time round the train from the main station is was waiting for the circuit one instead of the other way around, and that means they're sort of alternating, which is good because it means that sometimes one train will get all the copper and sometimes the other one will. Anyway, it's time to take out some biters because there's a couple of bases that are a bit too near to the pollution cloud for my liking. So there's a big one here full of spitters and worms that we deal with. And I tried rockets with this one, and at the time it didn't feel like it was any different from shotgun stuff, but looking at it then, it seemed like I was making slower progress with working through the base there, so I think I'll stick to the shotgun for now. I think maybe if there's a million biters occupying one square running after me, I might switch to the rocket, because that might be more effective in such a case. But anyway, we just need to work our way through all these little bases here, and the thing is, these are all entirely biter bases, so I don't even need to shoot them. I can just walk along and gather up all the alien artifacts, and all of the bots will do the blowing up for me, because well, it just shows how sort of weak standard biters are compared to spitters, because when there's spitters you really worry and you actually shoot them, but when it comes to biters, like if you just have a few combat robots, they just can't get to you because they have to use melee attacks. But anyway, we make our way back over to Copper Outpost 1, where everything is running nice and dandy now. What we need to do is wait for a train to turn up so that we can make our way back over to the base. So here's one of them. I've forgotten which train this is now, but it'll get us vaguely where we want to go anyway. So off we go, and this train goes to okay, so it took a slightly weird way, but it goes to the main base, and I want to go to circuit, so we hop off and check up on things, and there's no copper on the line, but then the train arrives and starts filling it up, so maybe from here it'll be alright. So we just hang around and watch how it flows. You see all of the smelters switching on and setting off, so already half the supplies run out, which isn't promising. So is the train going to get back before all of the chests come out? And I just start messing about with some power and stuff here to see if I can tweak some stuff, but I give up. But look, the production has run out, so it looks like even with the Copper Outpost 1 fully upgraded, we need ourselves a second train. And so of course this one can go over to Copper Outpost 2 and gather up some copper from there, steal it from the train that's already there, and bring it back to here to keep up the circuit production. Because the thing is, once we have the circuit production working well over here, we probably don't need as much circuit production going into the main base anymore, because the main consumption of circuits in the main base is electronic circuits. So if we get rid of that requirement and shift it over here, we might only need half the circuit production we had before, which would be excellent. And then we'll be able to have some dedicated copper outposts for this base rather than having it steal copper from all the other places. So anyway, we're just setting up the unloading system here, because now that we're going to have two trains using this unloading area, we want to have twice the unloading capacity so that they only have to spend half the time there. So we get the train operational and we hop on board so that we can go over and see how it goes. So we make our way through the fiddly bits there that are combining with the oil thing, and here's the train here that we have to wait for. And of course we have the usual problem of the trains blocking each other, so I quickly stick in the necessary signals to fix that, and then we can go and do some maintenance on the mining drills. So there's quite a few that have run out, so we need to go, of course, replace those to keep the production going at a good speed. But the thing is that like if we do that, we'll be mining the entire outpost basically, because I think there was 7 or 8 mining drills run out, and if we put in 8, we have the entire outpost now being mined. And once we have all of the conveyor belts and so on set up for this actually means that we are mining all of the copper we currently have in our network. So if we want to get any more mining, we either need to compress the miners on the outposts we already have, which I always think is a pointless thing, or we need to go and actually get a new copper outpost. The only thing is, if you look at the signs now, we are in the middle of follower robot count 20, and after that there is only the rocket defense research, which takes half the science that does, and then we're done. So I don't even know if we're going to have time in the next episode to set up a new copper outpost. We might just have to leave it and just make do, because there's so much stuff still to be done. Like there's that loop, the circuit loop, that is, you can see at the end of every episode, that is currently not connected to anything. It's supposed to be for delivering circuits to the main line, but it's not doing anything at the moment. I do want to connect that up because it's useful for delivering copper to halfway along the line to replenish the supply just before it gets to modules. But anyway, we take the train back over to the main base, and it takes a bit of a weird route. They keep going through that iron outpost. It's a bit annoying, but anyway, we get back to the main station, and after a quick checkup of the smelters and making sure that all of the belt balances are now working properly again, it is time to end. So we make our way back to the center, get resupplied by some bots, and I shall say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.